Good afternoon. On behalf of the Keene Seventh-day Adventist Church and the Medina family, I want to say thank you for coming this afternoon for the remembering of Virgil v. Medina, who passed to his rest on January 31 of this year. I want to begin with the words of hope found in Revelation. You know them well. The one where John looks and he sees no separation between him and God. He says, "Behold, the tabernacle of God is among men, and he will dwell among them, and they shall be his people, and God himself will be among them. He will wipe every tear from their eyes. There will be no more sorrow, no more death, no more crying, mourning, or pain, for the first things have passed away." Today, we gather in memory, looking forward to the day that death, sorrow, and dying are but a faint and distant memory. So let's invite the God of all comfort to be with us this afternoon. Father in heaven, we thank you for your grace and for your mercy. And we thank you for the life of Virgil lived out here in this community. God, would you send your comfort, your presence, and your peace right here, right now, to this space. As we remember, as we grieve, as we share, as we laugh, pray that your blessing would rest on the Medina family, especially Marianne, Mickey, and Renee and their families. God, thank you for your grace and for your mercy. In Jesus' name I pray.
There's a couple scriptures I would like to read for y'all. The first one comes from Isaiah 41:10. Fear not, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you. Yes, I will help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. The second one comes from Revelation 21:4. And God will wipe away every tear from their eyes. There will be no more death, nor sorrow, nor crying. There shall be no more pain, for the former things have passed away.
Here because I also have some Bible verses to share. The first one comes from Isaiah 40, verse 31. But they who wait for the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not be faint. The second one comes from Isaiah 43, verse 2. When you pass through the waters, I will be with you, and through rivers they shall not overwhelm you. When you walk through fire, you shall not be burned. The flame shall not consume you.
Sharon and I are honored to be able to share the life story of Virgil. Our families have known each other for 43 years and had a lot of memories together through the years. So we're just very honored. And Virgil and I had some things in common. When he was a young guy in academy and college, passionate tennis player. So was I. We never played each other because he was in the Philippines and I was in Texas. And he loved to sing in quartets. That was one of his great loves as a youth and in college. So, same with me. We never were in the same quartet because he was in the Philippines and I was in Texas. We had similar interests.
Our kids went to school together. And we had lots of music lessons together, lots of programs together. It's been a joy to know your family. The family has put together a very nice life sketch. Virgilia Medina was born June 25, 1941, to Marcelino Medina Sr. and Porfiria Virgilia Medina in Kamiling, Tarlac, Philippines. I looked up Kamiling. It is definitely a green, tropical city. The average, I think when Virgil moved here, he must have thought he'd come to a temperate place, because the average daytime high temperature over the whole year in Kamiling is 97 degrees. The average low temp is 65 degrees. They get 44 inches of rain a year with an average of 143 rainy days. No wonder it's so green. Virgil was the youngest of 3 children. His brother Marcelino was 12 years older, and Evelyn, his sister, was the middle child.
Virgil was raised by his maternal aunts. Mischief came knocking at his door quite often. Once, he felt he had been given an incorrect grade in school, so, logically, he and some of his buddies decided to pin frogs to the undersides of the school desks.
You think they were alive or dead?
We don't know when the frogs croaked, but we do know that he pinned them under the desks. The class took several days trying to figure out what the scent was. Finally, one of the teachers opened a drawer to find one of the many frogs. Virgil was also the only one of his friends who had the courage to court the daughter of the president of Philippine Union College. Aren't you glad he didn't end up with her, though, right? Yeah. Many of his cousins have said that Virgil was always willing to sing. Of all the 21st cousins on the Medina side and 9 cousins on the Virgilia side, he was considered the best singer. He would refer to himself as a crooner, and others had referred to him as the Filipino Elvis. He sang in many choirs throughout his lifetime, including the Keene Worship Choir, where he was referred to as King Bass. Virgil had an immense catalog of music in his memory. The family laughs that if anyone in the family called out to someone else to hang on, he would burst into a chorus of, "Hang on, Sloopy, Sloopy, hang on."
When he was 27, his older brother, Dr. Marcelino Medina Jr., brought him to the United States and encouraged him to attend school to become an x-ray technician. That's when he changed his name to Virgil. He excelled in school and at his job at Cook County Hospital doing mobile x-ray. The doctors would tell him how pleased they were when he was on duty. At Chicago's North Shore Seventh-day Adventist Church, there was a Valentine's Day social in the church basement in 1970. A lady, whose name is not mentioned yet but will be, nudged her friend and said she was going to meet Virgil. His cousin Junior asked if she wanted to go for a ride. She went reluctantly for the joyride. Virgil said to her, "Let's go and elope," and he hit the gas. He was laughing and she was nervous. He finally pulled the car over and they began to talk very civilly. Just a year and a half later, on June 27, 1971, in Chicago, he married the lady, Mary Ann Flug. They were married 2 days after his 30th birthday because he determined not to get married until he was 30 years old. Their two daughters, Renee and Michelle, were both born in Chicago, and the family moved to Keene in 1979 so the girls could attend church school here.
Virgil worked in the x-ray departments of Walls, now called Texas Health Harris Methodist Cleburne. It was easier when it was Walls. And in Fort Worth at Texas Health Hughley and Harris Southwest. And I got thinking with Virgil's partiality to frogs, he must have felt right at home in Fort Worth because that's TCU, the home of the horned frogs, right?
Partiality.
Yeah. In 2005, Virgil fell victim to a severe stroke. It was doubtful at that time he would even make it through the night. He lived for 20 more years, a modified but full life with his family, and he even returned to the Philippines in 2011. The country had changed so much that since he had moved to the United States that he told his cousin Ray he was never going back. He said that home for him was Keene, where his family and his loved ones were.
Right. Virgil passed away on January 31. He was preceded in death by both parents, his brother Marcelino Jr. and his sister Evelyn. He's survived by Mary Ann, his wife of 53 years, his daughters Renee Tyler and her husband Sonny, Mickey Aclair and her husband Ace, and Virgil was delighted that both sons-in-law are also musicians, to say nothing of those granddaughters. Oh, my. Mourning the loss of their Lolo are his grandchildren, Stephen, Ashlyn, Ariana, and Cadence, as well as a host of cousins, nieces, and nephews.
One more thing. Brides and grooms come to a church, and they stand in a spot, sometimes in this very spot. Some in this family have stood at this spot to say their vows. For Virgil and Mary Ann, it was the North Shore Church in Chicago, a church that Sharon and I have visited because when our daughter Amy lived up in Chicago, she occasionally would play at that church. So they were at that spot. And they say their vows. In my premarital counseling through the years, I have cautioned couples not to take the vows too lightly, to take them seriously, the vows to be faithful in sickness and in health. When a young couple comes, they're generally in good health and assume that good health is going to last in perpetuity. Good health can go away, sometimes gradually, sometimes suddenly in an accident or a stroke. But be faithful, be faithful. And Sharon and I have seen the past few years the loving care, the kindness, the patience that Mary Ann and the whole family have given to Virgil at a difficult time in his life. We even ran into them several times at the state fair. Yeah. And there's Mary Ann wheeling Virgil around so he can enjoy the fun of the state fair. Be faithful to those vows. I believe all heaven is pleased when people are faithful to their vows. house. And I believe, by the grace of God, we're going to see Virgil again someday. And I believe Virgil's going to see us. And he's going to see things we can't even imagine, and hear music that we can't imagine. Because it says in 1 Corinthians 2:9, "Eye hath not seen, nor ear heard, neither hath it entered into the heart of man what God has prepared for those who love him."
The theme of the Bible is Jesus and how he died to save men. The plan of salvation assures us he's coming back again. Are you ready for Jesus to come? Are you faithful in all that you do? Have you fought a good fight? Have you stood for the right? Have others seen Jesus in you? Are you ready to stand in your place? Are you ready to look in his face? Can you look up and say, "This is my Lord"? Are you ready for Jesus to come? Don't cling to the world and its treasure. This earth will soon pass away. Oh, give him your love without measure. He's coming you today. Are you ready for Jesus to come? Are you faithful in all that you do? Did you fight a good fight? Do you stand for the right? Do others see Jesus in you? in his face. Are you ready to stand in your place? Can you look up and say, "This is my Lord"? Are you ready for Jesus to come? Are you ready for Jesus to come? Are you faithful in all that you do? Do you fight a good fight? Do you stand for the right? Do others see Jesus in you? Are you ready for Jesus to come? Are you faithful in all that you do? Do you fight a good fight? This is my Lord. Are you ready for Jesus? Are you ready for Jesus? Are you ready for Jesus to come?
I hope the resounding answer is yes. We're ready for Jesus to come. Aren't we? This world is in need of some hope. This world is in need of some salvation. And this world is in need of some families put back together. In need of drawing close to one another. There's a story in the Old Testament. It's in 1 Samuel chapter 20. David and Jonathan are talking about the political happenings in the king's court and the impact that it will have on their relationship. And Jonathan says to David, "Tomorrow is the new moon, and you will be missed because your seat will be empty." You will be missed because your seat will be empty. For David and Jonathan, it was a matter of King Saul not knowing whether he liked David or hated David, wanted to be close to him or not. But the fact of the matter was that because of the circumstances, it caused David's seat to be empty. A place where David was supposed to be, he would not be there. And the same is true for the Medina family. There is an empty seat at the table. What was supposed to be is not any longer. And that's the reality of a grief-stricken world, of a world where death, dying, sorrow, and pain are still the predominant reality. But I'm thankful that we serve a God in heaven who saw fit to provide for us even in our need. And even death, something that we see perhaps as evil, something that separates us from God, in a lot of ways is a tremendous gift to each and every one of us. In a world filled with sin, can you imagine living more than 100 or 105 or 110 years? We've probably all seen enough. And so even in death, God has given us a great gift. I want to share this afternoon just a few words from the book of Psalm, some words of Jesus, and some words of hope. Psalm 16 reads this way, "Preserve me, O God, for I take refuge in you. I said to the Lord, you are my Lord. I have no good besides you. As for the saints who are in the earth, they are the majestic ones in whom is all my delight. The sorrows of those who have bartered for another God will be multiplied. I shall not pour out their drink offerings of blood, nor will I take their names upon my lips. Yet the Lord is the portion of my inheritance and my cup. You support my lot. The lines have fallen to me in pleasant places. Indeed, my heritage is beautiful to me. I will bless the Lord who has counseled me. Indeed, my mind instructs me in the night. I have set the Lord continually before me. Because he is my right hand, I will not be shaken. Therefore, my heart is glad and my glory rejoices. My flesh also will dwell securely. For you will not abandon my soul to Sheol, nor will you allow your Holy One to undergo decay. You will make known to me the path of life. In your presence is fullness of joy. In your right hand there are pleasures forevermore." Scholars point to Psalm 16 and recognize that it speaks about the Messiah, the Holy One of God, not undergoing decay. The Holy One of God, Jesus, the Messiah, who has found the path of life, who can experience in the presence of God the fullness of joy, and the right hand and his pleasures forevermore. But the beautiful thing about Scripture, the beautiful thing about God, is that whatever is Jesus's, I don't think that's proper grammar, but it's hard to emphasize the possessive. Whatever Jesus has is ours also. Whatever Jesus has is ours also. David could write the lines, "I'm satisfied with my heritage. I'm thankful for how God has led in my life." Jesus could say the same thing as well. "I am thankful for my heritage." And I think Virgil and the Medina family could say that as well. "I am thankful for my heritage." It's beautiful to me how God has orchestrated and aligned the family tree in such a way that I can be blessed by it. It is the Lord who provided counsel to Jesus and the Lord who also provided counsel to Virgil. Jesus' mind was instructed in the night by God, and I believe Virgil's was as well. Jesus set the Lord continually before him, and I think Virgil did as well. And because of that, the right hand of Jesus could not be shaken, and neither could Virgil's. Jesus' heart was glad, and his glory rejoices, and so did Virgil. One of the things I remember about him the most is his smile. Every Sabbath morning as I greeted him, always a smile. No matter how the week had gone, always a smile. The psalmist also says, David speaking, also speaking on behalf of Jesus, "My flesh also will dwell securely." Jesus dwelt securely, and so did Virgil. And I love verse 10, "You will not abandon my soul to Sheol." It's true for David, it was true for Jesus, and it's true for Virgil as well. In death, God has not abandoned Virgil. No, he's resting the sweet sleep. And one day he will awake with many other people on that hillside in Keene. That's going to be a place to be when Jesus comes back, let me tell you. "Nor will you allow your Holy One to undergo decay." Jesus was not allowed to undergo decay, and neither do I believe Virgil will be allowed to undergo decay either. "You'll make known to me the path of life. In your presence is the fullness of joy. At your right hand there are pleasures forevermore." If there's anything I take away from the life of Virgil, is that he enjoyed life. He enjoyed living it to the full. And the reason I believe that to a high degree is because his family does the same. He's passed that on to his daughters and his sons-in-law and his grandkids. In the presence of Jesus is the fullness of of joy. At the right hand of God, there are pleasures forevermore. And as we think about the family cycle, and we think about the empty seat, and we think about whatever Jesus has is ours as well, he tells his disciples in John 14, do not let your heart be troubled. Believe in God, believe also in me. In my Father's house are many dwelling places. If it were not so, I would have told you, for I go to prepare a place for you. There are many families in Keene that I'm connected with, that preside over memorial services and funerals for, but there's a special connection that I have to the Medina family. And that's in the time that Melissa and I were moving to Keene and in need of a house. Marianne and Virgil were ready to move on from their house. And the timing, I think, was just right. Wonderful home that we've had, that we're raising our boys in. And if you've ever been over to the Medina household, you could see Virgil's handiwork. And we have grown to very appreciate the several outbuildings that are in our backyard that I believe were from his hand and from his mind. Jesus says, I go to prepare a place for you. I remember one time, shortly after we had purchased the home, Virgil pulled me aside and he said, did you find the electricity that I ran from this place to that place? It's underneath the ground. Make sure you find it. I said, yes. Yes, I did. In my Father's house are many dwelling places. If it were not so, I would have told you, for I go to prepare a place for you. Jesus has gone, leaving an empty seat, to prepare a place for us in heaven. I go and prepare a place for you. I will come again and receive you to myself, that where I am, there you may be also. That's the hope that we have. That Jesus has already been providing a place for you and for me and for Virgil, and he's in the process of right now bringing that about. Yeah, we're going to have to wait a little bit here on this earth. Yeah, it's a little bit unfair. Yeah, we ask the questions, why here, why now? But we live with the hope that Virgil's place is secured and yours and mine is as well. That Jesus has prepared that place for us. It's in Revelation chapter 19 that speaks about that great gathering day when everyone is brought together and there's no longer an empty chair. There's a place for everyone. It says, Revelation 19, verse 7, let us rejoice and be glad and give glory to him, for the marriage of the Lamb has come, and his bride has made herself ready. It was given to her to clothe herself in linen, bright and clean, for the fine linen is the righteous acts of the saints. Then he said to me, blessed are those who are invited to the marriage supper of the Lamb. Jesus would tell his disciples in that upper room as he's telling them about the place that he would prepare, that the meal that they were having, he would not eat of or drink of the wine until we were all together once again. And Revelation describes that moment where Jesus stands up, holds up the glass, probably hits it with his fork a little bit, and he says, welcome, y'all. He's probably from Texas, I think. Welcome. I'm glad you're here. I have been waiting for this day. So as much longing as we have in our loss now, as much as we would love for our husband and our father and our Lolo to be back with us again, Jesus longs for him even more. And what a day that will be around the marriage table of the Lamb to feast together and enjoy some good food. I want to leave you with these words from the poet Malcolm Guite. I often share them in times of sorrow. He writes this, riffing off of Jesus' words in John 14. Always there comes this parting of the ways. The best is wrested from us, borne away. No one is with us always. Nothing stays. Night swallows even the most perfect day. Time makes a tragedy of human love. We cleave forever to the one we choose, only to find forever in the grave. We have just time enough to love and to lose. You know too well this trouble in our hearts. Your heart is troubled for us, feels it too. You share with us in time that shears and parts, to draw us out of time and into you. I go that you might come to where I am. Your word comes home to us and brings us home. I'm looking forward to the day that we will all be home together. We'll need to restart that video.
triumph still if thou abide with me. Hold out thy cross before my closing eye. Shine through the gloom and point me to the skies. Heaven's morning rays and earth's faint shadows flee. In life, in death, O Lord, abide me. Abide
by your side.